I still feel like the scene is in its infancy again. I kind of feel like it's in its rebirth stage. Like, you know, it got to a certain point where it was popular. Some negative things happened with either like people getting hurt in clubs or just money or whatever. And then combine that with other things that have to do with that culture, and then people got scared, you know. And then, so when I first came in, it was that period. So I think now it's back to where people are kind of like starting to open their eyes and kind of see it again. They're starting to get introduced to good hip hop. That's always been a part of why I'm here, why they're trying to introduce people to good hip hop and kind of know where to look.
So, what is your name, government name, rapper name, whatever you want to go by?
My name is Andrew Cesar. My rapper name is Rules Rekka. RUELZREKKA for those who can't, don't know how to spell that,
So, in your own words, what are you kind of trying to accomplish with this documentary? What is the message?
With this documentary, I'm trying to give some foresight into Kalamazoo's hip-hop scene, since I go to Western right now. I'm a film major, a music minor, and I kind of want to give a more detailed look at just the scene here, just from people that I know. Like a lot of the artists that we're interviewing in this are guys that I've met through networking around here, just because I felt like at some point maybe I should get involved in the local scene here and see what I can do with it, because I'm still working on music. Yeah, so pretty much.
Alright, my real name is Joshua Tabron. I'm from here in Kalamazoo. My rap name is Fanel Carter.
My name is Imagery. I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Well, actually, Manistee, Michigan.
My name is VH. That's what they call me. Truth Tone Records. Born in Atlanta. Lived in Cleveland, Ohio. Lived in Camden, New Jersey. Lived in Central Virginia. Lived in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
I'm Schizo. I'm from Kalamazoo. 32. And I do cocaine, son. I'm really 19. No, I'm just like, go ahead, man.
Okay. My full real name is Matthew Michael McFerrin. My rap name is Matt Black, and I've been rapping for, 5 years. Recent Western Michigan graduate. I currently live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay, my name is James Thompson. My, stage name, was King James Alpha. I'm also Alpha.
So you're a rapper as well?
I felt like I was nothing just because I'm black. I guess I'm not supposed to make it, so I got no choice but to adapt. How am I supposed to act? All I know is that I can't get complacent, or I would wind up being trapped. And that isn't any kind of life. At first, all I wanted was to rap, and then I met my wife. Yeah, right. I didn't expect this was the way it would turn out. I stepped away from what I loved, but I never really could get out.
So, how many years have you been rapping for?
I guess if you want to say rapping, really doing it to think that it's a dream that could possibly come true, I guess you would say it have to be my second year, or almost the end of my first year in the Marine Corps.
Man, I've been writing down my thoughts since I can write. I've been doing that since at least 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
I would say that. Technically, how long have I been rapping? I would look at it more, how long have I been sharing my thoughts and feelings about different things to others? Probably since middle school. I remember, being late to class in the hallway, spitting.
For me, it was probably like 6th grade as far as music, me listening to hip-hop and liking it. Same type of like thing that he was talking about. I used to just write. So as far as writing, it became music, me wanting to be a musician. I was in choirs, stuff like that. So I was around music, played the drums back in grade school on for a little bit, and it was just music.
So I'm 30, all right? So I've been around hip-hop since, like, the 90s, the 80s and 90s, but I didn't really start to get into it until maybe, like, late 80s, I'll say early 90s.
Well, I first got, like, turned on to hip-hop back in middle school, listening to tracks that I would hear on the radio that I liked, and as I got older, started digging a little bit more and finding stuff that I really, really got into. So probably like early high school was when I first got into listening to hip hop seriously, and then when I got to college was when I started to like get into freestyle battles and do that whole thing. So that was when I got into making beats, and that was when I really got into the culture of it.
My mom got me started rapping, I'll say in '86 when LL Cool J, I'm Bad album first came out. She would get drunk at night, and I would come entertain all her friends by rapping LL Cool J, I'm Bad, in front of everybody. And her friends would, give me money for candy and stuff the next day. So that's when I first got paid to perform. So I was bit by the bug. I was notorious in the hood. Sherwood, East Side. I'm bad. Put my hand up with a shark fin. That is like a shark.
What do you think of Kalamazoo's hip-hop scene here?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think that Kalamazoo and all the west side of the state is kind of shadowed by the Detroit hip-hop scene, just because it's so all the best hip-hop in Michigan comes from Detroit, or at least that's what people think. And lots of great acts come from Detroit. A lot of great music is going on in Detroit right now. And I think that people need to look to the west side more, because there is some really cool stuff going on here and a really unique culture that isn't as well exposed as the Detroit scene. It doesn't have the same reputation.
That's the good thing about Kalamazoo. We're 2 hours away from Chicago and Detroit. So right now, this has become a city filled with people who are not from here. Every time I meet somebody, they're from somewhere else, or their family's from somewhere else. But they share the culture here in Kalamazoo.
There's basically a lot of cats that I met that I feel like are talented. There's some cats I met that are all right, but I think they have potential. I haven't really met a whole lot of people that I think you should just not even do it, But then that's opinion anyways, I think, but I think it's good. I think the forecast is good, ultimately, for Kalamazoo.
Okay, there's 4 sides to Kalamazoo, just like everywhere else. North, east, southwest. The north side of Kalamazoo is notorious for being more dangerous when it comes to white America and mainstream media because of drug trafficking and violence. But now that's more spread throughout Kalamazoo, not just one side of town. But musically, you get more street, drug deal, I got money type music from the north side. It's infiltrating more on the east side now because they kind of share the same mentality. The south side has a small group. They're more young. You got 15 to 16-year-olds, Roscoe Dash type music, so it's more about pill popping and having sex as opposed to selling drugs and dope. And then you got the west side of Kalamazoo, which is more campus and kind of has an arrogant attitude. Like the west side is like, I stay out west. I hear people talk it and say like the west side doesn't have subsidized living or violence. Just today, as we sit in this barbershop, we're up here on campus and somebody just got robbed. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple people. So it don't matter where you at. You know what I'm saying? But up here is more, on the west side of Kalamazoo, is more like backpack rappers. So more like, you got the Talib, the Jean Grays, even Kendrick Lamar fans, and then south side be like Meek Mill's fans, and north side you got the 2 Chainz fans. That's how I would kind of put in the box. And then with the south side being more diverse, it's kind of a little bit of everything, So, and that's pretty much it. from what I've seen.
And hip-hop really doesn't control its own perception. I think that's a larger dialogue about the way that American media deals with, like, counterculture, particularly black culture, but any culture that's not that dominant, culture that's showing American media, the dominant white culture. And I don't want to say that to sound facetious. What I'm saying is just be factual, you know what I mean? Like, if you study it, if you look at it, that's what's talked about, is how there's always that disparity between how dominant culture is shown in cult culture. So hip-hop is still a victim of that. Even though it's getting older now, it's still at the whims of that. So the perception of it always changes. It always seems like it has to legitimize itself every few years, And it's like, just it seems like it's made all these great strides and made history, that like one small thing done by one of the people in the community of hip-hop will set the perception back 5-10 years.
Hip-hop is a culture. You feel me? It's a lot of things that we do inside hip-hop culture. A lot of it isn't bad, but a lot of it gets the perception that all of it is bad. And we can't be ourselves. And when I went to go do the Little White show, the next thing I know that Shakespeare's is saying they don't want to do hip-hop shows anymore because marijuana is getting smoked inside their establishment. Whereas 200 people upstairs getting shit-faced drunk and we just down here chilling. You feel me? So you don't want to do, and you come back and say that's like the biggest show that you had in a long time. You feel me? And then people getting in fight at Shakespeare's, but it's not the people that's smoking weed, it's the people that's drunk. And they let them go. But if they smell weed on somebody, then they want to it's a part of the culture. Like,
you guys, I'm sure, noticed the stigma of hip hop here in Kalamazoo. Do you guys feel like your movement is helping kill that stigma off for hip hop? Or
what is the stigma?
Like, just pretty much how people look at hip hop in Kalamazoo, like just based on the fact that that a lot of local venues don't seem to support it. We barely have any that put on hip hop shows anymore, at least.
At one time, throughout the history of Kalamazoo, there's been plenty of hip-hop shows. There's been plenty of people that have brought names. We still have names coming through here. It's not mainstream radio names, but we have names coming through here constantly. It's vibrant in its own little way. It's just no one's putting out major money. And the reason, off of the question you asked, is because people go in here and do dumb things. You have to act like a responsible adult when you go and play. People, when they drink too much, like to fight. They've made it so we don't have that. Guns, people bring guns. I understand protect yours, all that, but at the same time, almost like conceal weapons, just don't bring it into the place for the night. But establishments can do a better job of finding stuff like that too. They have to take some to blame, but that's what we see now. Now they don't want to put the money out and have that type of crowd at their venue constantly.
And it's this so-called stigma. I think Kalamazoo has a stigma against how hip hop has been represented here, with a lot of the drama. Like my man was just saying. So if we represent it correctly, then it's undeniable.
This is mini Motown. I run into so many people here with so much talent, but no drive. Or you run into someone who has all the resources with no talent. And then all the talent and no resources. And then no unity. So the people with the resources can't get to the one with the talent. Because everyone has this mentality of get me to me. What about me? And there's no CMB. Like, my mentality is like Nino Brown and the Carter in New Jack City. You know what I'm saying? And my brother's keeper. Each one need to teach one. We all got to be strong links in the chain or it's not going to happen. So until Kalamazoo, put the egos aside. When I say Kalamazoo, I mean other artists that you are interviewing in this documentary, as well as myself. This is also a reality check to myself. We all need to put these egos aside and really come together and figure out where's the easy button. Figure out what kind of tour we can put together, what kind of package can we put together to bring the right attention here.
We have to represent it correctly. Anything misrepresented is going to yield bad results. And we got to unite more. We have to unite. So I applaud this what y'all doing, because once we unite everyone can still maintain their own autonomy with what they do in their own lane, you know what I mean? But if we can come together and unite on some common causes, under a common banner, and use hip-hop as a platform to engage the young culture, it will be unstoppable, you know? So then hip-hop will be represented well, and how do you think the stigma would be then? It would be non-existent. The stigma would be synonymous to, yes, that's what we need, they get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But we got to unite. You know, there's some rappers here that you know, talk about the dope boy life. Do what you do, but we can come together on a common cause.